Whether you win or lose, what matters is that you have a common goal. And to reach that goal, it takes a band of brothers acting as one. Every week, we come together to witness these gladiators of the gridiron pour their heart and soul into the field. This is Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet.
The eyes of the South Carolina high school football world are on the Low Country tonight. Two premier games, and we've got one of them for you on Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet. We're in the 3A Skeezer ranks for a battle of unbeatens, Hammond out of the Columbia area, and here at Porter-Gaud. We welcome you down to the field with ABC News 4-man anchor Dean Stevens. I'm Darren Goldwater. Interesting tidbit I learned. Eric Kimry has been coaching for 15 years over on the Hammond sideline. There is not a current coach in this league that has ever beaten Eric Kimry and Hammond.
Go ahead and consider them kind of the king of the Skeezer Hill. They've won 9 of the last 14 state championships. They've got a great program here. We're going to see a good one tonight. They're
a little bit younger than they were last year, but they've got some names that you will recognize, and it starts under center. Jackson Muschamp is off to a pretty good start this year.
How about pressure? Just the last name being Muschamp, but this is a guy who comes in, fills in for their starting quarterback last year, who graduated, who set all kinds of records, 37 touchdowns. But Jackson's got things rolling. Very manageable quarterback.
For Porter-Gaud, they want to pitch the ball around as well. This should be a high-scoring game. Both defenses are good, but haven't quite been tested like this. Gunnar Nistad paces this offense.
Is he the top gunner? I mean,
sure.
He's thrown for 16 touchdowns all year. The thing that I love about him, though, when you look around, he's thrown to 5 different receivers who have double-digit receptions.
He's going to spread it around. Jackson Muschamp is going to spread it around. Which defense is going to be able to play up to their standards for the first half of the season? That could decide this one. Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet. It's going to be a good one. Porter-Gaud and Hammond. Ready to go from Porter-Gaud. Couple of unbeatens in the Skeezer 3A ranks. A big one as it pertains to playoff seeding. pretty much at the midway point of the season. Your game time temp brought to you by Roper St. Francis, where experience matters. What was Dave Williams calling it? Ogtober?
Ogtober.
I'll give him credit for that. 90 degrees at 7:30 at night in October. Or was it? Yeah, it wasn't October then August. It wasn't August, right?
No, it was.
Either way, it works. It's hot. It's hot. It's steamy. And with luck, the action on the field is as well. Set for the Aim High kickoff, brought to you by the United States Air Force. Porter-Gaud will kick things off here. Jonathan Whites. Porter-Gaud will start on defense, a defense that's allowed all of 36 points this year. They've got 3 shutouts to their credit, but they have not seen a team with the athletes like this. And out across the 25 goes Canty. Wow starting lineup. Now for the Wow. Whole home Wi-Fi starting lineup. No slow zones, no dead zones, just the Wow zones. Jackson Muschamp will direct this offense. The son of Will Muschamp, head coach at South Carolina, and he gets one onto the edge. And they'll pick up a couple of yards.
Andre Wilson, one of his prime targets. He looks for about 3 of them throughout the game. He's going to make a quick start with that quick pass.
As we pointed out, the Wow starting lineups now for the Wow. Whole home Wi-Fi. No slow zones, no dead zones, just the Wow zones. Muschamp will give it off to Croswell and Birch, to running backs. And sometimes he'll keep it himself. They don't like to run him a whole heck of a lot, but he's serviceable when they have to. It'll be about a 3rd down and 5. Porter-Gaud defensively averaging just 6 points allowed per game. They have forced 16 turnovers. And a look at their defense. J.D. Key keys it there in the middle. Muschamp gazes over at his coach there, Eric Kimry, a former South Carolina quarterback. Patiently waits in the pocket and fires it complete on the outside to Cleo Canty. And Canty has about 20 yards into Porter-Gaud territory.
Canty, one of his top targets, a 5-receiver set right there, something you're not going to see a whole lot of in most of these Skeeza games. Canty with 7 touchdowns on the year.
Canty came in with 487 yards. Andre Wilson, who had the game's first reception, is the other primary target there for number 6, the junior quarterback, Jackson Muschamp. Protected well once again, and that ball is nearly intercepted. Heck of a break on the ball by Tobias Lafayette. Junior playing just his 3rd game this year.
Lafayette, one of 3 DBs with 2 interceptions. You saw a great break on the ball there. Tried to do the same thing on the 3rd down pass to Canty, but just missed it. And as they roll in these wide receivers, also keep an eye on the running back, Croswell, also one of his main threats out of the backfield to throw to as well.
And it'll be Croswell with his first carry of the game, trying to get through that line. And there's not a whole lot there. It's Legree Walpole averaging about 7 tackles a game, picking up his first of tonight.
You take a look at some of the numbers, tackle totals by some of these PG guys. Pretty impressive. Lawrence with 85, and then Caleb Pierce with 52, 58, 48. It's a pretty strong group.
It's an offense that's been putting up numbers in bunches. Croswell can't come up with it. Probably felt the footsteps a little bit there. Robert Grubbs, second leading tackler on the team, and Porter-Gaud forces the Hammond punt team out onto the field.
Tried to get it to Croswell on the screen, but Grubbs made a nice play, blowing it up. literally blowing it up. And I was told before the game, and this was one of the biggest keys for Porter-Gaud, one of the coaches told me, they just cannot get ahead of us. We've got to contain them early, maintain them throughout.
One of the reasons is because of a defensive lineman who you will see shortly who will also carry the ball, number 5, Jordan Birch for Hammond. This is Lipsitz to punt. And this one is out of bounds right off the foot. It'll depend on where it's spotted, and we've got some extracurricular activity there at the bottom of your screen.
No, it was more like a soccer foul.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was just a little bit. It was just a little bit.
Okay. Soccer foul, so we got a little acting going on, is that what we're saying?
Possibly.
Okay.
Possibly.
Okay.
Nothing against soccer. I'm just saying that in the sport of soccer, you do see a little bit of that. All right, the keys to the game right here for Hammond. No Oski for you, right? If you're don't know what an Oski is, right? It's an interception. That's the one. That's the one kind of the part that Muschamp's got to take care of the ball. He's got 7 interceptions this year. As for Porter-Gaud, he's got to shoot down the stars. They've got a couple of 5-star, 4-star athletes, 2020 class, number 5. They've got to be able to run away from these guys, watch them on this play. Bunches set up at the bottom of your screen. This play is going to go to the top or to the outside.
And it is nearly intercepted. Did he come down with it? Yes, he did. Wade Oliver's 2nd interception of the year. And Nistat is picked off on the opening play from scrimmage for the Cyclones.
Hard to see what he was looking at from his vantage point. But Oliver was right there. Cut in front of the receiver as soon as the ball was thrown.
As a team, they've now forced 20 turnovers. And Eric Kimry told me prior to the game, the biggest issue for the Skyhawks, yeah, they're getting the turnovers, but it's when they give the turnovers back that's a problem. Number 5 in the backfield now, Jordan Birch. Only a junior, but one of the top juniors in the class of 2020. Muschamp brings it down and fires it wide. It'll be 2nd down.
Listen, Eric Kimry, the resume since he arrived at Hammond is unprecedented. The numbers are crazy. Like, I don't know, he's lost like 18 games. Hold on, I've got it right here. Cramp space. He's 158 and 17.
That's
He's
okay.
158 and 17. And I'm not going to question him, but when you got this guy in the backfield, I would just give him the ball.
6'5", 255. Porter-Gaud doesn't have a guy with that type of size. They're trying to have 5 guys to bring him down, and they will at the 9. So it'll be 3rd down and 2.
Right. So you've got a guy in the backfield that looks like that on 1st down. You're going to throw the ball, just pound it away.
That's the biggest difference between these two teams. Hammond has a couple of guys who are top recruits right there, Jordan Birch. And you will also see Alex Huntley, number 95, sometimes playing both ways, certainly on the defensive line. Here goes Birch once again, and Birch just stays on his feet, brings the Cyclones in the end zone with him. His 5th touchdown of the year. And, man, did he make it look easy.
So there's where the problem lies for Porter-Gaud. This is why they talk about they've got to not let them get ahead because they can just ground it and pound it all night long if they want to with this guy.
So far, Birch here and Croswell, who had 1 carry on the first possession, they had split carries evenly through the first couple of games. Well, 6 games this year. But you can tell which one is the power back of the 2. After the interception, 3 plays later, Hammond is the first on the board. Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet, is underway from Porter-Gaud. So Hammond has been on the field for all but one offensive play thus far. It was the interception thrown by Nistad. A couple plays later, Hammond in the end zone with the big running back Jordan Birch. And it'll be Legend Waring here, taking this one back for Porter-Gaud. One of the assistants for Porter-Gaud said to me earlier today, he said, Legend Waring, he's going to have a big game. I said, yeah, why? What makes you think that? He said, big-time players make big-time plays in the big-time games.
And this would qualify as a big-time game. And you saw again on that drive, while Porter-Gaud's offense needs long, sustained drives and no turnovers to keep the big fella off the field. And they also said, you see if the guy's going to line up on the right side, he's going to be at the top of the screen here. He goes, we're running away from him every time.
It's interesting, though, because on the first play they ran, they threw it his way, and it resulted in an interception. Quickly out onto the edge goes Caleb Pierce. He is strung out by Josh Lipsitz and picks up, well, they'll give him a decent spot, maybe 4.5.
Pierce, their leading rusher, averaging just about 406 yards or so on 40-something carries.
Yeah, Pierce is averaging about 9 a carry. He's at about 100 yards a game if you toss in the receptions as well. Hammond brings one extra linebacker as Nistad fires. He's picked off again. This is Fabian Goodman. Here's Goodman now coming back the other way, and he is drilled out of bounds. I believe it's Nistad who put the hit onto him. It sure was. So Nistad's been picked off twice in the first 4 minutes.
He comes out and he rolls out to the right, and he comes across just a little bit. Just that Goodman broke on the ball better than his wide receiver did. Fabian Goodman's got some pretty good bloodlines. His father, Andre Goodman, over on the sideline for Hammond, their defensive back coach. Gamecock fans remember him. Spent 4 years at USC and then spent 10 years in the NFL.
And he is here on the sidelines. His father is. So this is not the start Porter-Gaud was looking for, Dean. It is exactly the opposite of what your keys were. So they'll spell Birch here, and they'll go with Hal Croswell. He is put down with a big hit by Robert Grubbs.
You know, sometimes I think you come into a game like this, you've got a team like Hammond that's come in that's beat you 14 straight games. It beat you in the state championship game in 2010. And maybe you come in a little too fired up, try to make too much happen. So once they settle down, get their feet underneath them, get a stop here, we'll see what happens.
A lot of stuff going on around Porter-Gaud. It's also homecoming here. That's Andre Wilson's second reception. And for the first time, we're going to introduce you to the third member of our crew. Tonight, it's Brody Hart. What's up, man?
Hey, Darren, what's going on? So we were talking about the PB&J challenge right now. I've got Matt Notvet with Synovus, and you've got a couple of your little ones here with me. So tell me who these are.
I do, yes, sir. This is my daughter, Ann Elliott, and my boy, Matthew Price.
Okay, all right. You were just saying that the camera adds 15 pounds, so we got to be careful with this one. Yeah.
We're sucking it in because it adds 15 pounds, right, buddy?
No comment. So we're talking about the PB&J challenge. How did Synovus get involved with that? And give me a little background on the PB&J challenge.
So the PB&J challenge is essentially a food drive benefiting the Low Country Food Bank, and every week all the high schools in town before their football games are challenging each other to see who can bring in the most peanut butter and jelly. And so far we've raised about 20,000 pounds worth of peanut butter and jelly, all for the Low Country Food Bank. Peanut butter and jelly, it's delicious. Everybody loves it.
I still eat it.
We all do. Actually, fun fact, you're going to eat about 3,000 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches over the course of your lifetime.
I guarantee you I'll eat at least that many.
At least that many. And if you stack those up, they're higher than the Statue of Liberty.
Well, that's a fun fact right there.
Yeah.
What about these two? Do they like peanut butter and jelly?
I love peanut butter and jelly, of course. Every child does.
Okay, all right. Well, let's get to the winner this week. So it was actually Porter-Gaud versus Somerville, and Porter-Gaud came out on top. They had, what was it, about 5,000 pounds of PB&J. We're going to bring the check in. Here we go. So congratulations. We want to thank both teams for their participation in the PB&J Challenge. Guys?
All right, Brody, I appreciate it. You know, you never know what you're going to learn when you're watching a high school football game, particularly driven by Cruz Chevrolet. I didn't know I was going to eat 3,000 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, nor did I know how many sandwiches stacked together would equal the height of the Statue of Liberty.
You can take that one home with you.
I will.
Crunchy or creamy?
Crunchy. Got to have the peanuts in there.
Very good.
Yeah? How about you?
I'm either or.
Ah.
Either or. Listen, we're not in that point of the game where we start talking about peanut butter sandwiches.
We are on the third possession already, however, for Hammond. They've got 2 interceptions. They turned the first one into points, and we've got a flag down here.
Jackson Muschamp last year came aboard and played defensive back. I told you a little bit about the quarterback at the top of the show. His name is Corbett Glick. He graduated last year, but not before throwing for 3,300 yards and 38 touchdowns. Glick, as USC would have it, took a preferred walk-on scholarship, so he is playing under Jackson's father, Will. Will also a DB in college.
Jackson looking right all the way. He wants the back of the end zone, and he overshoots Cleo Canty there. You know, Dean, you talked about Eric Kimmery and the head coach of Hammond, and folks around here may know him from his South Carolina days. First, we're going to crunch some numbers here, brought to you by Synovus Banks. Anderson Brothers Bank. Thinking of peanut butter and jelly, Dean. You just got me hungry already. Anderson Brothers Bank, crunching numbers. The defense is really 86 points allowed by Hammond. So that's, just a little bit more than about 10.5 a game. And just 6 a game here for Porter-Gaud. Rally to the ball here to take down the big Birch and force third down. All right, so back to Kimmery. Rick Reach told me, the favorite play that he runs is the fade. So
right.
He teaches it well, and that is what South Carolina fans remember.
That is what made Eric Kimmery a household name. He played at Dutch Fork for his dad. He played 3 years at USC, played behind Phil Petty and Corey Jenkins. So, I think his total stats, I think he threw 45 passes in 3 years. But it was that one pass against Mississippi State.
How about this one? Muschamp rifles it over the middle. There's the flag and another. And it will be PI there at the goal line. So it'll be, half the distance to the goal from the spot.
Jonathan White's with a pretty aggressive play. I liked it. Looked like he was breaking on the ball. Men in stripes, think he got there a little too early.
Jeremy Langdale. And the high school rules, it's not an automatic first down. So half the distance to the goal still leaves them with third down.
But that Kimmery play so famous, they actually made a documentary. SCE TV made a documentary out of it, simply called The Fade. Mississippi State was ranked that year. USC was coming off of a winless season. That propelled them to a 8-4 year and a trip to the Outback Bowl.
Both backs in there together, Croswell and Birch. They're going to pitch it out to Burks. Skips over an ankle tackle, and he's down at the 5, pretty close to the mark to gain.
I think that was...
Got a Zaxby's fans cam. It's homecoming around here at Porter-Gaud. It's a big game. Excitement all around. Pretty good crowd for our Zaxby's fans cam. Both of these schools similar in the fact that they're going from pre-K all the way through the high school ranks. Going forward on fourth down, everybody in the stadium knew Birch was going to get it, and the big man plows his way for a 1st and goal down to the 2.
Not sure quite what the defense is. Now, earlier in the drive, White's made a nice play, got him around the knees, and then everybody else jumped on board. And 2 plays ago, Reese Baker tried the same thing, and then I think the knees may have caught him in the coconut. But again, I don't know how do you crash down on 5?
And that was the biggest concern for Rick Reitz. We just don't have someone who could slow him down, and that's his 2nd touchdown of the first quarter. That time he was untouched.
So 2 turnovers, 2 touchdowns.
And Porter-Gaud yet to put forth a sustained drive.
And by the way, number 5, just a junior,
yes.
coming out of the 2020 class.
Yeah, so everyone at the Skeezer ranks gets to play against him again.
Offensive line did do a nice job to open up a hole.
And that kick is good. So Barrett tacks on that extra point, and we are about 8 minutes into Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet, and Hammond has made quite the early statement here. The state champs from a year ago. Winning streak pushing up towards 20 games now.
Well, I think so. Right now, you got to think that Gunner's has settled. The game's come to him. Don't make a mistake this drive. Get some points, and then take it from there.
Yeah, find something to be positive about.
But again, last drive there was an offsides. They gave him a first down on the third down. There was a pass interference at the goal line. But you just can't be overwhelmed here. You can't feel like the wave is kind of just taking you under.
I think that's the big thing. You know, we're only 8 minutes into the game. So if you sit back and say, uh-oh, here we go again, then you put yourself pretty deep in the hole just in the first quarter. Lake Barrett. Got some good names here. We got Gunner, we got Lake.
Really good.
And from his goal line, he's only able to get out to the 12. Nice special teams coverage. That one by Michael Schraebman. My TV Charleston, ABC News 4, proud to present each participating homeschool a check for $500. The grant provides each school with extra funding to help make their school great. Over the past 8 seasons, Friday Night Rivals and our sponsors have donated $85,000 to Low-Country students and schools. Congratulations from My TV Charleston, ABC News 4, and Friday Night Rivals. $85,000, huh?
How about that? That's called commitment.
Hard to believe we've been doing this, was this 9 years now? Started on Thursdays, now out to Fridays. I think I got that right. They're going to go on the ground here with Pierce. And Pierce maybe has a yard there. William Locke, number 21, taking down number 21 for the Cyclones.
You talk about great names, number 95. I don't see him on the field right now. The other, you called him Alex Huntley, but people around the school call him Boogie.
Yeah, on the roster, he is Boogie.
Right.
But that is not the given name. Alex is the given name. Here, Nistad is chased out of bounds. And you can see even the speed there of the defense. Nistad feeling it. He slides as he gets out of bounds. Lipsitz in pursuit.
Yeah, fans don't like it, but I think he just kind of get tripped up there as Gunner starts to stand up. Again, they're keeping him out of the pocket, moving him away from number 5.
5 is Jordan Birch. He'll pretty much be able to decide where he plays his college ball. He's a top 300 guy, one of the top defensive ends in the country. And they'll continue to work away from him. And it's incomplete.
Late flag comes down behind the line of scrimmage. Again, a little late on the delivery. He had him open as soon as he started his rollout. It's going to be a hold. So does Coach Kimmery take the hold or keep it 3rd and 8?
The way his defense is playing right now, it's an option that must be nice to have, because either way, you feel like it would work out well for him.
Did decline it, and that was 3rd down, so now 4th down and the punting unit comes on. We outsmarted ourselves.
Right. Well, I mean, Porter-Gaud hasn't picked up a first down yet, so if you back him up, fine, give him another crack at it. But
no reason.
Right. Andre Wilson, Cleo Canty, deep to return this punt here from Whites. Whites, who will play his college ball at Clemson, has already committed as a preferred walk-on to kick for Dabo Sweeney and company. Got a good roll on that punt. So Hammond at the 47 will start with their worst field position of the quarter, with the exception of the opening drive when they took the kickoff.
I wonder, when you look at a kid, you call him Birch, I think he looks like a bunch. But you wonder with a kid like that, obviously more talent than everybody on the field, maybe on 2 or 3 combined, but just playing at a small school like this, does it hold him back at all? Does it, he'd be better challenged at a bigger school to get him ready for the next level?
It's an interesting thought. Once again, Porter-Gaud rallying to the football. C.J. Simmons, 74, led the group.
I'll tell you what, that defense licking their chops when they see Criswell get the ball.
Yeah, I mean, anyone other than 5, they're saying, all right, great, we can put a hit on here. The way the game is right now, there are all these 7-on-7s there. You can camp at all the different schools. So, I would imagine it's somewhat like the NFL draft. It's the measurables, and Birch has them. On second down, Croswell is down, back behind the line of scrimmage.
I think the crowd wanted a block in the back that came behind the line of scrimmage there. And again, it's not a slide against the private schools. I mean, Ovi Mahaley did pretty well, and he played here.
Yeah.
Right? Stanton Seckinger did pretty well, played here. Matthew Duncan did pretty well, played here. But you could just see on this night, and probably most nights, he overmatches everybody that lines up in front of him.
Yet his offer list as a junior reads like a who's who of the Power 5. Muschamp slides up in the pocket, fires a strike. Cleo Canty's got the first down to the 34.
Really nice delivery. And the thing that impressed me most about that play is that he had the entire left side of the field open if he wanted to break it down and run. But he stayed in and let Canty find a little spot in that defense, and they delivered the strike.
Kimry had high praise for Jackson Muschamp. Anytime you're the coach's kid, you're expected to have a pretty good IQ, but he said he's got the best pocket presence of any quarterback he's ever coached in 15 years. Flag is in, and this is Muschamp, who will plow his way for 6 yards as we check on that flag.
For a guy who's been pretty successful at this level, it's quite the compliment, I'd say.
Kimry got this job when he was 24. Came right out of college. He said, I have no idea why they hired me, but I'm glad they did.
Because of the fade. They hired him because of the fade pass.
Well, they must have known what they were doing, because you rattled off his record, and it's strong.
Well, he was at USC, and I remember covering him. And I don't remember being at that game.
Got an illegal shift and a false start.
But Kimry referred to himself as the 7th-string quarterback. But you had Petty and Corey Jenkins. You remember Corey Jenkins?
Remember the name.
He was a great high school athlete and was actually drafted for baseball. Went and played some baseball, and then I believe with the Cubs or the Reds. Like most baseball players, the curveball's a different deal. So he came back and was a quarterback at USC. He was big, physical, strong kid.
First down and long. You can see the pocket presence there. Muschamp never looking back, but felt the pressure coming and will just take what the defense gives him as we work down towards the end of this opening quarter. A couple of turnovers for the Cyclones have led directly to 2 touchdowns for the Skyhawks. Porter-Gaud yet to pick up a first down. Hammond's been on offense, it feels, the entire quarter.
Yeah, that whole coach's kid thing, it's got to be tough. And especially when you're playing high school football in Columbia, when the dad is the head coach of that football team. Nice play on the defense. I believe that was number 12 coming in, stepping in, and keeping the play inside of him, able to make that tackle, Andrew Thomas.
Thomas, who was a quarterback last year here. He's been a captain on and off throughout his career and willingly stepped aside for Nistad. He is now a receiver and a defensive back here for Porter-Gaud.
See if they dial up something here, bring a little bit more pressure. Don't have to snap the ball if they don't want to. But he's a coach's kid. Of course he wants to.
Of course he does. But this one off his back foot, he just heaves it out there. He wanted Canty, and it falls incomplete to bring up 4th down with 2 seconds left.
Yeah, they brought 5 that time. They did a great job of getting their hands up in Muschamp's face. And forcing a punt here is big.
Second one that they have forced Porter-Gaud this quarter. And the key moving forward for the Cyclones will again continue to be put a sustained drive together.
They've certainly lost the field position battle as well in the first quarter.
Line drive, end over end kick. That was not easy to handle, but Waring caught it as opposed to letting it go in the end zone and then loses some extra yards. So speaking of the field position battle, Porter-Gaud is going to start at their 2 when we start quarter number 2. And they're down by 2 scores on Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet.
Good work.
Alongside Dean Stevens, Darren Goldwater with you. It's 14-0 Hammond. Jordan Birch has a couple of rushing touchdowns on the heels of a couple of turnovers for Porter-Gaud. This Friday Night Rivals season. Every Friday night, launching the Synovus PB&J Blitz. It benefits the Low Country Food Bank, local high school that donates the most jars of peanut butter and jelly wins. You already heard from them. They've already got 20,000 pounds of it. Synovus will give $100 to the winning school each week, $2,500 to the overall champ at the end of the season. Half of that money goes to the Low Country Food Bank. It's a great new partnership. Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet. So we bring you back here, and Porter-Gaud is backed up on their own 2. They're going to try and run it out of there, and Pierce will give them a little bit of breathing room out across the 10.
Again, they're running away from Birch. Pick up a couple yards, and I think that, you know, he got in trouble rolling out of the pocket, and it was to the short side of the field. At some point, you're going to have to just take your 7-step drop, sit back in the pocket, and find a receiver. But again, you saw the speed of his defensive backs for Hammond.
Here's Nistad. It's a design draw, and he runs right into Bradley Dunn, junior defensive end.
No small fella himself.
No. You know, one of these teams has been tested, and it's Hammond. Hammond has already come down into this area and beaten First Baptist 28-21.
I think Michael Dukes had, 180 yards in that game, maybe.
In the loss.
In a loss.
I mean, Dukes is a guy who, size-wise, you know, the eye test, you know, he stacks up with some of these guys on the Skyhawks as Nistad fires wide, but flags are down anyway.
I think it's going to be a false start on the right tackle.
There we go. I forgot his name. Is it Zach? Zaxby?
I think it's just Z.
Is it Z?
I don't know.
Either way,
It is now.
It's Z Zach Zaxby, and he is in the middle of our Zaxby's fans cam. The chicken. At least the youngsters here are having some fun with Zaxby's. Third down and about 3 here for Porter-Gaud. Still in search of their first down, and we still have not seen Alex Boogie Huntley, the other Power 5 prospect who will, just like Jordan Birch, be able to choose his college destination in 2 years. He also is a junior. Hammond crowds the line. Porter-Gaud doubles up Jordan Birch, and it's knocked down by Fabian Goodman, diving there in front of Andrew Thomas to force 4th down.
Well, the way that their DBs and linebackers are set up, it's almost like they've created kind of a second level of a shell, and it's hard for them to find that space, especially when you're rolling out. Offensive line did a nice job neutralizing Birch on that play, double teamed him down, allowed Gunner to get to the outside and have a clear view.
So White's backed up in front of his own goal line, and still it's Canty and Wilson deep to return. This is a great punt that hangs up and gets a roll. Put it down at the 29.
That was a heck of a job by Jonathan White.
I got that as a 65-yard kick.
You know, we've never talked about this.
Okay.
Right? That's one of the football rules I have a problem with. I think it should be measured from where the guy punts the ball.
I agree. I do
Right?
agree. And I was wrong. I gave him 10 extra. It's 55.
But in my stat class, it goes for about 63. Because he was 8 yards behind the
There you go.
line of scrimmage.
See, that's what I was thinking then.
Right.
Anderson Brothers
You knew
Bank.
where I was going?
I did. Yeah, we worked together long enough. Anderson Brothers Bank helps us crunch some numbers. The defending 3A Skeeza State champs, as we told you, pushing up on 20 consecutive wins. Muschamp keeps it himself and is taken down pretty high. It looked like almost a horse
looking
cow
for that
there.
flag,
I
weren't
was,
you?
yeah. Simmons got that hand up there.
May have got it around the side, not in the back of the collar. I don't know if that matters.
Part of the strength of Hammond matches up with some of the relative inexperience of Porter-Gaud, the lines. You know, they got the big guys on both sides of the line, and that's just not where Porter-Gaud has its size. Muschamp fires the deep ball. Andre Wilson's off to the races, and it's a touchdown for the Skyhawks.
He delivered that right on point. But this all starts up front. He had all day to throw, no pressure at all. And he put it right on the back hip of Wilson.
Great extra look there by our crew. Wilson also just a junior. That's the scary part about Hammond. You talk to Eric Kimry. How's this team different than last year's team that won the state championship? He said, well, we're younger now. But while they're younger, they're now 6.5 games into the season. And you're not talking about freshmen younger. You're talking about guys who have waited their turn.
They've only got 8 seniors on their roster.
I believe there's one senior on the defensive 2 deep, 2 of them, in fact. And that is it for the Skyhawks. So the Skyhawks tack on another. Porter-Gaud trailing by 3 scores early on in the second quarter. Tells the story right there. Hammond has taken advantage of 2 Porter-Gaud turnovers, turned it into a couple of rushing touchdowns in the first. And after a wonderful punt, Hammond turns around with Jackson Muschamp firing a deep ball to Andre Wilson. And it is 21-0 Skyhawks. You can look at the stats and you can say, yeah, these teams are similar. They're putting up about the same amount of points. Their defenses are shutting opponents down. But you look at them on the field and there's a size difference that is significant. Coleman gets this one out to the 40, and we go down to Brody Hart for the David Ayler Law Office Educator Spotlight.
Hey guys, that's right. So I'm here with DeBose Eggleton of Porter-Gaud. You're the head of, did you tell me headmaster or head of school?
Head of school.
Head of school, okay. All right, so one thing I'd like to talk about is, we're here at the football game. What else is going on? What highlights at school can you tell me about?
Well, we certainly have a lot of athletics going on in the fall, and our volleyball squad has a very successful season so far, but we got about 57 teams out here any part of the year. So we were SCISA Palmetto Cup holders for the last few years, so we're excited about that. We are in the process of some renovations for the arts and a big campaign project to build a community life center, which we're excited about. So just
big stuff happening.
Big stuff and excellence, trying to make sure that we have facilities that support the excellence in the arts and athletics and academics.
Now I saw you
at the same time.
Great. I saw you talking to Chris Angel, your counterpart at Hammond.
Right.
So it seems like you two know one another pretty well. A little background there.
Yeah, we've kind of come up together, and we've shared a lot of great ideas. Hammond and Porter-Gaud have had the chance to share faculty and share departments, and Chris and some of his team spent the day down today. We spent some time talking about our computer science programs. So it's great to share great ideas across schools with similar missions.
Great ideas, similar missions. What are some of those big ideas that you're kind of looking ahead to on the horizon?
Well, we've partnered in some arts competitions, and if you bring in some top-notch national speakers, we try to share that opportunity with each other, and big ideas that we see across the nation of independent schools. Computer science is a big program here at Porter-Gaud, where we have a 4-year track, and our kids do everything from cybersecurity to robotics to just the baseline computer science programming.
Sound like some college courses here.
Oh yes, definitely. A lot of heavy college level prep. So
great. Well, that's exciting. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Absolutely. Great to have you here tonight.
Absolutely. DeBose Eggleton of Porter-Gaud. Guys, I'll get back to you.
I appreciate it, Brody. We got third down coming up here for the Cyclones. They are farther into Hammond territory than they've been all night. First time they're across midfield. They got some help from a holding penalty on the kickoff, but now they're going backwards. Nistad tries to get that one out, but I think William Locke will get credit with the sack anyway.
Well, the first and second down plays, they went to the run, and they kind of started, they get a little up-tempo. And I thought maybe there was a little bit of a delay between that second down and third down snap to let Hammond kind of get everybody situated.
Porter-Gaud's going to go for it here. Got to get down to the 40. It is fourth down and a long 3. Nistad gets pressured early, and then the help comes. Bradley Dunn, the first one through. Forward progress stopped at the 47, so that's where the Skyhawks will take over.
Had absolutely no time to do anything. You think you got to throw the ball away, but even time to set back and cock the hammer and shoot it.
No, and even if you throw it away, you're turning it over on downs. But you save yourself about 8 yards in the process. So things could have started a little bit better than they have tonight for Porter-Gaud.
Well, I think the key here is obviously to keep them off the board, get into the half, and see what kind of adjustments you can make on the offensive line, bring in extra backs to protect.
Play fake it to Birch, and Muschamp wants to take another shot. This time he overshoots Croswell.
Muschamp takes a pretty good hit really the first time he's been hit back in the pocket. You see him from our end zone shot. Grubbs comes in. A little help from some friends.
After that play, after he took the hit, he gets up, and instead of just looking over at the sideline to get the play, he walked halfway over there, and Kimry walked halfway out into the field to give him the play. Birch takes the pitch and just lowers that shoulder, powering his way inside of the 40. It's going to be short of the first down by about 3.
You know, going back and scrubbing off some of the rust and opening up the memory bank. You know, the only time I remember people used to run away from Norman Hand when he was at Walterboro. You know, it was just obvious. But then to see a running back this big, right around that same time, James Walker, who was Darwin Walker's brother, played NC State. He was about the same size. And once he started running downhill, it was out of control.
Yet still, he might be short here. He almost just kind of ran into the pile. And while he gets a whole lot of carries, at the next level, Birch probably projects to a defensive end. Right.
Right.
And that is where most teams have interest in him. Going to measure this one here.
Have you ever seen them? I've never seen them
move
do that.
the ball.
Why would they move the ball? Why wouldn't they move the chains?
I was thinking the same thing, and it stayed up there as opposed to actually coming out of my mouth. So I appreciate.
Okay, let's see if this guy's going to say no. You missed it by a couple of feet.
Because how do you know if the ball moved an inch or two when you flipped it over there? And
now they got to come back and respot the ball.
Right. So the change should have come out to the ball, spotted right there where it was. Either way, it's about 2 chains, 3 chains short. And it'll be 4th down, so Hammond will go for it.
I don't know if you could bring an all-out blitz with absolutely everybody on your team.
You could.
I would do it right now.
Conventional wisdom says that Birch is going to get this ball. .65, better than 250 pounds of muscle going right at you for the first down. And the Hammond drive continues about halfway through the second quarter.
Yeah, that's just a straight. Chris Wells up front, takes out a blocker. And then you've got defensive backs coming in doing what they can.
You know, we've seen athletes the likes of Birch, plenty of them. You've already rattled off a couple of the D1 athletes that have been down in this area. And there are some that are down here right now, but not typically at the Skeezer ranks. What a pattern run. And Muschamp's on the money to Cleo Canty. Hammond is running away here in the second quarter. They have almost doubled the points Porter-Gaud's allowed all year.
Again, nobody in the pocket giving him trouble. He can stay in there all day long and allow his receiver. And as you said, a great route run by Canty.
Muschamp to Canty, second passing touchdown of this second quarter.
Throws a good ball.
He really does.
You know, as the professionals like to say, it comes out of his hand really well.
Spins it.
Is that what they say?
He spins it.
Let me find these numbers. I think I was telling you. So the kid last year who Muschamp took over for, he threw, I think, 3,300 yards, 37 touchdowns. Muschamp coming into this game was right around 1,600 yards and 13 touchdowns. If he keeps this up tonight, he'll get to 2,000 yards.
And the issue now, certainly for the Cyclones, early on we said it, hey, look, stay in this thing mentally, get something positive going. But now you've taken a couple of uppercuts, if you want to use the boxing terminology there. And now you really got to get up off the mat.
Almost maybe more like haymakers.
Yeah.
There weren't even really very many body shots. But you're right. They've got to get through this half, not give up another point, try to put a number up on the scoreboard other than a goose egg.
First things first, get a first down. Glad you're with us for Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruise Chevrolet. This is one of the two huge games in the area tonight, certainly billed as such. Hammond has come out and made a statement early. The other one is out in Monk's Corner, where Berkeley has brought in extra bleachers for their game against Fort Dorchester. And we will get you caught up on that score at the half. Game that was originally scheduled to be played during the week of the hurricane. Maybe that even added to some of the anticipation. There's Andrew Thomas. And Thomas is going to pick up about, give him 7, maybe 8.
Well, there's the difference right there. Get rid of the ball quick. Let your receiver make something happen.
It's exactly what Rick Reed said this morning. He said, the key for us, can we get the ball in the hands of our playmakers in space? If we can do it, then we got a shot for them to make some plays. Pierce makes the first man miss, and he picks up the first down. Number 2 is Saul Diaz, a guy Eric Kimmery thinks has a chance to play on Saturdays. He, too, is just a junior.
So, again, they're moving away from 5. This is the run by Pierce. Again, they've run the ball really well all year long.
Offensively, they've been able to pretty much do what they wanted for the most part of this year. Passed it for about 270. They've rushed it for about 150 a game. Getting more than 7 yards a carry, but they haven't seen the likes of this Hammond defense. But get this, the passing defense that Nistad's going up against.
Yep.
They're giving up 58 yards a game through the air, and they're winning every time. So teams are throwing against them. There's Diaz again, wrapping the legs of Pierce.
So the thing I like about what I'm seeing on these plus plays on the runs is that it's almost a counter where he starts off to the right because there's so much pressure by that Hammond defense, and he's cutting back against that pressure, picking up 3 or 4 yards. But you can't have a minus yard play here. You know, that first down where you don't pick up a yard, then you're in this situation, and Hammond just pins the ears back. The professional broadcasters like to say that too.
Yes.
They pin their ears back.
To go after the quarterback who's got that high spin rate.
Yes. Yes.
Before 3rd down and 7, we've got a timeout here for the Cyclones.
I mean, pinning their ears back, that's a real thing, you know. That's a surgical procedure.
For dogs, yeah.
And for people.
Really?
Yes.
Well, let's hope that doesn't need to happen to me.
No, you're good.
At what point do you need to pin your ears back?
This is maybe a 4th quarter conversation. Right after the peanut butter recipe.
Coming up at the half, we will see the cheer competition, so you'll be able to get interactive with the program. You'll see those cheerleaders, Hammond and Porter-Gaud. At least we'll see Porter-Gaud.
That's the Diaz kid that Kimmery likes so much. Again, just a junior, but likes him as a linebacker or a DB?
A linebacker. Yeah. He said he's really got a shot. And once again, I mean, you see him there, number 2. He's bigger than 34 Davis Newman, who's the nose tackle.
And they've got 4 on the line, and they got 4 more in the box. They're only going to bring 4, though.
Mm-hmm. coming right through was Davis Newman. And that's one of the reasons why they're so hard to throw against. It's because they've got the bodies in the box, that front seven, that can really create some havoc.
And that DB was stride for stride with the Porter-Gaud wide receiver. And that's almost got to be a back shoulder throw where, again, the pressure they're able to bring and as good as their corners are in covering makes it a really difficult situation. And why they've really found the small amount of success has been on the ground.
Well, the one positive, the Cyclones got their first down on this drive. Whites, who had a 55-yarder ripped last time, will bounce this one. That's picked up by Canty, and he's going to get 15 extra yards.
On a face mask.
Face mask or maybe a shove late, one of the two. These two coaches are actually good friends. The Kimry family comes down here after the season.
And
Dean,
why wouldn't you?
You're on it, aren't you?
Just a little tug.
It's
against Hammond. And see, I missed that part of it.
Yeah.
Kimry doesn't like that call.
Yeah, he's not a big fan of it, but his team is up by 28. And so his family comes down. They'll hang out with the Reitz family for a little bit. Known each other for quite some time. They've coached against each other now for 8 years. This is Rick's 8th year on the sidelines of Porter-Gaud. Muschamp wants to set that screen up, and Canty dances his way to some daylight down the sideline. Didn't seem like there was a whole lot there. Canty made something out of nothing.
We talked about the speed early on in this game. It was obvious from the get-go, and that play right there was a lot of black jerseys converging on Canty, and the next thing you know, he's +8.
Muschamp's thrown for a couple of touchdowns. Jordan Birch has rushed for a couple of touchdowns, and Birch is not in the game right now for 2nd down and short. Muschamp finds Croswell out of the backfield, and no one will catch Croswell. 72 yards to Croswell with no flags.
That's two tosses for about 135 yards. And 2 touchdowns, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, as you said, comes out of the backfield, little wheel route. DB's cleared out by the wide receiver. And no one close to the speed to catch him.
So 34-0 now. Hammond's got the lead. And even though talking with the coaches, you got the sense that both of them felt as though Hammond was the favorite coming into this. I never got the sense that it was a lopsided favorite like has happened here in the first half.
Well, I was told early in the game that we've got to contain them and then maintain them. And they've not been able to do either.
No.
But, yeah, you could see athletically and just size-wise and terrifying that it's a team loaded with juniors.
Terrifying for the rest of the league for sure, but a lot of fun for the folks on the Skyhawks sideline. Up on Porter-Gaud, 35-0. I mean, this is a statement that the Skyhawks are making. They've already come down here and beat First Baptist. Porter-Gaud will play First Baptist at the end of the year.
That was one of the articles that I found last few days. Is apparently Jackson Muschamp called his dad after he saw Michael Dukes play and say, "You got to get this guy." And it is, South Carolina is one of the offers, one of many. I think it's up to 20, 25 or so for Michael Dukes.
Dukes is a special athlete there for First
I
Baptist.
think we're maybe hoping to have him in First Baptist on one of our broadcasts later in the year after one of the ones we missed because of the hurricane threat.
See if Porter-Gaud can put something together offensively. But even the body language, it's been it's been tough. These guys had the opportunity in front of them to get excited and understanding that we've got a couple of undefeated teams, top of the league, chance to make a statement, and they've been flat for the most part.
I think it's more of what Hammond has done and less than what Porter-Gaud has. And now the early interceptions certainly don't help.
Correct.
But from that point on, they've had a difficult time moving things against this offensive line.
Well, they're going to pick up another first down here. They rolled away from Birch once again, and it's the first time they've found Trush. 21st reception of the year. He's the second leading receiver on the team.
Little play action. Running back rotates out to the left. And Gunner with a nice pass to the right.
Look at the Skyhawks, too, ripping at that ball.
I thought that whistle could have come a little earlier.
Mm-hmm. Hammond has 7, almost 8 men within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. That one is caught, then nearly dropped.
You get
but
2 receptions on that?
He should. So Waring catches it from Nistad and then caught it again and picks up the first.
Again, he lets go that ball within 2 seconds.
Playing hot potato with yourself.
Yeah.
And this is what Porter-Gaud has been hoping to do. Get the ball out of Nistad's hand, get him in some space, and this time he had Birch in his face.
So Birch comes flying in, and then gives Gunner the extra 2-hand shove at the end, and that's what the flag is going to be.
And Porter-Gaud marches this one down now. To about the 20. Yep, right there on the 20.
And that's where my question earlier about better competition for a guy like Birch. To go up against a lineman who's 290, get past him, then you can maybe give the QB an extra shove, huh?
Yeah, as opposed to just tossing a guy out of the way. Like that. He doesn't make it into Nistad, but the other side of the line will collapse on him. Davis Newman, 34, first one to get him.
Yeah, just flushed him right out of the pocket. Yeah, there you see it. That was a little gift.
Inside 2 minutes to play first half. Best drive thus far for Porter-Gaud. And they'll go with Pierce, running it away from Birch, and Pierce is out of bounds. Chased there by Saul Diaz.
Seen a lot of good talent earlier this year. Some of the guys from that first week when we were on the air, from Georgia, the Georgia commit, Jalen Underwood, Haywood.
There were a couple of...
Who, by the way, decommitted last week from Georgia.
Is that right?
The wide receiver. You never know who you're going to see over here on Friday Night Rivals.
It's true. That was a loaded team coming in from Georgia. Beat Somerville that night. Towards the end of that game, we saw Somerville show us at least what was possible for him. Nistad moving to his left, and it's incomplete. It's a well-thrown ball for Nistad. Moving that way. Lipsis was in coverage, and he knocked it away from Coleman. And they'll punt this one away.
That was the one question I had as they were working that drive, and I know they wanted to go fast, but I would have also tried to work a little bit more of that clock down. Save your defense to go out there one more time.
Now they're within, obviously, the distance of White's. He just ran out to the 40.
A 37-yarder.
Yeah. I believe he was carrying his tee as well, so he could very well be trying to line it up himself that way.
See the guy to the right on your screen behind the gentleman in the white hat, bald head. That's Andre Goodman. Played 10 years in the NFL. I think drafted by the Lions, played with the Dolphins. Had a nice career and then decided to come back and get back on the sideline. What an asset to have.
He looks like he can still play.
He does. He doesn't look like a guy who's got a son who's, 15, 16 years old, because usually those dads start to wear down a little bit.
Really? Because that's happening to me with a 5-year-old. was I supposed to wait till 15?
Yep.
And I wasn't coming from the heights of
Get back with me in 10
NFL
years.
athleticism either. Whites is going to try this field goal. It'll be a 37-yard try for him. It would be his long of the year. And they're running a lineman on late following the timeout. It's Holston Slack. A lineman who's got a chance to play at the next level, and this is blocked. Guess who? Jordan Birch. So Hammond will take over with 1:24 left in the half.
Why not?
It just looks too easy for him.
Is that the first dinosaur mascot you've seen? You take a look at the Hammond stand about the 40-yard line. I think there is Stegosaurus, maybe.
So they're the Skyhawks, but
That's a first.
yeah. How many people are in that?
You need to put that on the Zaxby's menu for our Zaxby's fans, Cam.
Dinosaur?
Sure.
Dinosaur nuggets?
Brontosaurus burger.
On the ground. That was Wilson taking that one. With 1:10 left in this half that has been
You talked about
dominated here by Hammond.
Talk about the relationship between Reitz and Kimry. You find out how good of friends they are right now. Because if you're going deep, up 35.
Well, that wasn't deep. That was an underneath route, and out of bounds goes Lipsis. First down and out of bounds to the 48.
Muschamp hustling his team to the line.
And I think taking the foot off the pedal is something that happens maybe in the second half. Because as Hammond works through the regular season schedule, they're not going to get tested too often.
No.
So any opportunity to run a 2-minute drill will benefit them when they get into the tournament for the playoffs. Muschamp calmly slides away. And there is a flag down in the backfield as well.
Going to be a hold. 54 raises his hand saying I didn't do it, which means
it's typically a pretty good sign.
means you did it. Mark that at the 39.
It's Mason Harrington.
Harrington responding to the crowd, giving them the cam pointer at the scoreboard.
I'm still fascinated somewhat by that dinosaur. I'm trying to figure out if it's...
How many do you think you had in there?
I'm going to go ahead and guess one, but I think 2 would benefit him.
Yeah, I think it's got to be 2. You're either the front of the dinosaur or the back of the dinosaur.
Yeah, but if you're in the back, I mean, you're certainly not standing up. Here's Wilson now out on the edge, and he's out of bounds. 36 seconds left in the half.
Look at the moms. Usually it's the kids pulling on the dinosaur tail, but the 2 moms are pulling on the tails. Come on, moms.
They haven't seen a dinosaur either.
I think it's their dinosaur.
Their pet?
I don't. If it was a Porter-Gaud dinosaur, I think it would be maybe on this side.
I would agree. So someone traveled down 26 to be a dinosaur for Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet. Muschamp throws high. He wanted Canty.
Hadn't missed too many of those tonight.
No, he sure hasn't. So it'll be 3rd down and a mile, about 3rd down and 20. The other thing about this first half from Hammond, it's not just the players on the field. I mean, there was a little bit of a buzz around here. This game, it was hyped up. Frankie Mansfield was on ESPN radio on the JB show this afternoon. I caught that. Frankie does a great job with the Moultrie News covering high school sports. And he was excited about this one. And he's here covering it. You can read about this one tomorrow in the Post and Courier or the Moultrie News. And Frankie had a lot of great points. But I think Hammond didn't just knock the players of Porter-Gaud backwards, but they sucked the energy out of here.
Quickly. And you can look at 6-0 and 6-0 all you want, but until you see that team on the field and you see the speed, and you can see it right away.
Yeah.
That there was a sizable difference.
Yes, the speed and the size. So prior to this fourth down play, Hammond takes a timeout.
Yep. So as you talked about, take your foot off the gas in the second half.
Yeah.
But not right now. It's up 35-0. Most would maybe think I'll just go ahead and punt it away.
Yes. With only, 20 seconds left in the half. But again, I mean, they've been tested once, and it was First Baptist. And if that game is any indication, a 7-point game, 28-21, it tells you a lot about First Baptist watching Hammond play here. And you begin to think, well, how many other teams in this league will be able to compete? Look at the eyes.
Now we have the dyno cam.
Oh, I love the eyes. Maybe two people. It looked like it was kind of bouncing there on the back a little.
Yeah. All right, so you bring Birch in.
Yeah, do you go for the first here, or do you take
I
a
think
shot?
You just run it straight ahead.
Or you take a shot. One wide receiver's in this pattern. It's Andre Wilson, and it is knocked away.
Boy. What a great play.
Lafayette.
And you know what? You don't see that a lot. And I wonder why. You just don't see DBs turn around and play the ball. But he just does this to perfection, doesn't he? Muschamp underthrows it a bit. With a really nice play.
Tobias Lafayette.
Cyclones have 15 seconds to do something with it.
I can see the Cyclones taking a knee and taking this into the locker room.
No, you don't know Rick Reitz. You got 2 up top and 2 down low.
That's right. And you've got 7 men up in the box. Nistad, that's on target. And dancing his way and staying in bounds is Coleman. So Walker Coleman will pick up the first down. That'll stop the clock for a moment with 7 seconds left in the half.
I don't know if he's going to have time to let his receivers get 45 yards down.
He won't. He'll heave one down there, and that is how the first half comes to a close. Score definitely tells the story of this one. 35-0. Hammond has the lead. 3 passing touchdowns from Jackson Muschamp, a couple of rushing touchdowns from Jordan Birch. And Hammond is in control after a couple of quarters. 35-0. Our Zaxby's halftime show, potentially featuring the dinosaur again, is coming up. 35-0. Hammond leads.
Brody Hart waiting on Eric Kimmery to come off the field about 45-yard line, walking over.
I'm sure Kimmery will have.
And there's our guy who hasn't played today.
That's true. Alex Huntley.
Boogie.
So there is no word on why, at least none that we were given.
No.
Brody is now standing by with Coach Kimmery. Brody?
All right, guys, Coach Kimmery, 35-0. A lot to be happy about right now. Anything that you're not happy about that you're going to focus on at halftime?
Oh, no, the guys are playing good. Sometimes our competitive edge gets the best of us, so we got to make sure we play a clean football game and clean up some of those penalties.
Talking about the play of Jackson Muschamp, he is putting it right in his receiver's hands. It has been all the entire first half.
Yeah, he's a wonderful quarterback. He's very intelligent, as you can tell. He's throwing the ball really well. They gave some things down the field, and we were able to hit him, and that's why the score is what it is.
What do you say to keep your players focused in the second half?
Listen, we'll just try to get some guys in the second half and get out of here as soon as we can. So,
Thanks, guys. Good luck.
Thank you.
Guys.
Sounds like the plan is to pull up off that pedal just a little bit here. Coach Kimmery's club with a 35-0 lead. Zaxby's halftime show around this timeout. Stick with us. It's time for the Zaxby's halftime show. Let Zaxby's cater your next tailgate with your favorites like the chicken fingers platter or the salad bar. Visit Zaxby's.com for a full menu and to find a location near you. Speaking of Zaxby's, you want some free Zaxby's? What's better than that? What's better than free and Zaxby's? You put them together. Each week, Zaxby's is giving you that chance to win some free food. Just text chicken to 44332. Text the word chicken right there on your screen. 44332. You got a chance to win $100 worth of delicious Zaxby's. Each week, David Ayler Law Offices highlights scholar athletes from each participating school. They have an opportunity to win a $5,000 scholarship at the end of each season. Tonight's scholar athletes are right there. Josh Lipsis. He's got a GPA over 5. He's got 12 varsity letters. And on the home side for Porter-Gaud, Caleb Pierce. The running back and linebacker also participates in track with a GPA of 3.9. He's got a school record also in the 4x200 and sprint medley relay. Earlier today, David Ayler was with ABC News 4 sports director Scott Eisberg.
Good evening, guys. Alongside David Ayler from the Ayler Law Firm, or as John Bruce calls you, I don't know, the captain of the courtroom, whatever else. I've heard all of the nicknames.
I got to patent those names with John. I really do.
You got to just sign them. David Ayler, captain of the courtroom. We'll go with that one.
I'll go with that.
All right, sounds good. Well, here at Porter-Gaud tonight, certainly some place that you have special to your heart.
Yes, absolutely. There are a couple different reasons. My son went to school here for several years, and we love the Porter-Gaud community. You know, I come here non-biased, so I'm not going for Hammond, I'm not going for Porter-Gaud, but also my Well, I'm not allowed to call her baby's mama. So son's mother is a school teacher here. But it's a little bit of a weird situation for her because, of course, as you know, her husband is John Canty, Coach Canty over at Bishop England. But that being said, I hope the best team wins tonight, and I'm just happy to be here.
You just hope it's Porter-Gaud because you're not on TV tonight in Columbia, so you should be good to go. Say Porter-Gaud.
So you know what? Forget all that. Porter-Gaud. Let's go all the way.
For you, how special is it to be doing this sponsorship again this year?
It is so great. Last year when I got involved, I didn't really understand exactly how it worked, and I really enjoyed sort of the process, tried to come out to as many games as I could, look at all the students, but what was most important and the hardest part was looking at them at the end and trying to determine who should win, because they all are winners, and they're going to be winners completely without anything to do with the scholarship from me or anybody else, and that's because of their drive within the classroom, their drive within whatever sporting field they may be on, and of course their drive within the community. And those are the things that no matter how old you are, when you instill them in yourself and your parents instill them in you for you, it's what's going to take you through the rest of your life.
You and I had dinner with them one night. I think both of us sat there and said, we got some smart kids who are going to bury us in success in life.
I think what we said was we'd never heard of those GPAs. We definitely never got anywhere close to them because those didn't even exist. But every single one of them you saw, just the maturity level that they had, the direction that they had, and the success that they're all going to have. Our last year award winner is doing pretty well for himself, I'd say. And I know this year's award winner, as well as everyone else that's involved, is going to do just as well.
Thanks to David Ayler. Thanks so much for your sponsorship. That last year winner he was talking about, Leo Albano, a Bishop England guy. Don't say that here at Porter-Gaud. He right now is at Notre Dame. Not too bad. For David Ayler, I'm Scott Eisberg. I'll send it back to you guys.
Appreciate it, Scott. This is not the look that I've got today, but it's sharp. David Ayler bringing the heat with the blue suit. And meanwhile, Leo Albano, who they just spoke of, is on the roster with Notre Dame. He is listed as a wide receiver. We got more on our Zaxby's halftime show live from Porter-Gaud. That's next. It's the Zaxby's halftime show continuing here, and Zaxby's wants to cater that next tailgate with favorites like the chicken fingers platter and the salad bar. Check Zaxby's.com for a full menu and to find a location near you. Winner of this game, winner of every Friday Night Rivals driven by Cruz Chevrolet gets that beautiful trophy that ABC News 4 Chief Meteorologist Dave Williams was trying to steal earlier tonight, but he can't, because it's brought to you by RKO Total Graphics in downtown Charleston, and one of these teams will get to keep that trophy. I am sorry, Dave. That is staying with the football teams. More coming up. 35-0 at the half. It's been all Skyhawks. The Zaxby's halftime show. I wonder if I say that enough and we have enough breaks that we'll get some Zaxby's delivered to us. Maybe they can cater our next halftime show with favorites like our chicken fingers platter or the salad bar. Maybe I'll go to Zaxby's.com to find a full menu and the nearest location here to Porter-Gaud. All right, this is one of our most enjoyable segments when Dean and I can both go back and forth with the highlights from around the country.
Jordan Hillside out of Raleigh, North Carolina, in the mud, in the goop.
Look, 12 he's running a long way not to go anywhere.
That was only a three-man rush. How do you let a guy get behind you?
Because it's so muddy. They just slipped, I think.
It was 3rd and 19, that's why.
This is a sharp-looking high school field. We're back in Johnstown. They get on the highlight reel all the time.
Is that PA, right?
Yeah.
Johnstown, PA.
Yeah.
You know what? Oh,
right. Look at that block.
Remind me about the Johnstown connection.
I can do that.
Just down the road in Pittsburgh.
I was in Pittsburgh just a couple hours ago. Look at this guy run.
It's the snails. Or the goats.
Yeah,
I mean, that's not a ram.
They probably want to be the Rams, but
that's a goat.
Timpview. We're in Salt Lake City.
Oh, nice.
Wow, we're out in Utah now for that one. Who do you think that is, Timpview or Alta? Timpview. They got a T on their helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some good speed to the outside.
Omaha. You know, coming back from Pittsburgh today, I was on a plane with a couple ladies from Omaha.
Look at the flow. Look at the flow.
Yeah, better flow than the ladies on the plane.
Oh, my goodness.
Very good. Very good.
You're on a plane today. You'll be sick in like 3 days.
I'm on a plane a lot. For the most part, I survived that. Those are great moments from Thursday Night Lights and Friday Night Rivals around the country. Let's take a look at scores from around the Low Country now. The other big game in the Low Country is Berkeley and Fort Dorchester. And Fort is actually trailing Berkeley 14-0. Sorry to call you guys out right there, but it's an important score. Berkeley leads at 14-0. That's in the third quarter. Ashley Ridge pounding James Island, and Goose Creek has a lead on Stall. Also, First Baptist, we've talked a lot about them. Michael Dukes has 3 touchdowns in the first half, and First Baptist is rolling as well.
Timberland's up 27-7 right now. I have no idea who they're playing.
But that's
and
good.
Wando is beating West Ashley 14-7 at their new building.
I still have not seen that building.
Here's the good news.
on this Friday Night Rivals. I spoke with the athletic director, and he was wondering why we keep showing Wando versus Fort, and I said, invite us to the new Palace.
Yes.
Next year. And he said, you're welcome to come.
We got
we're on the books.
We got our own press box
with
there, right?
Bullet
It's a brand new
Bob
stadium.
Hayes.
All right. Bob, you're on the clock.
And some AC.
AC, press box, press meal,
Yes.
and a good game. On the clock. We're on the clock, too, because we got to go to a break. We're late. 35-0 is the score at the half. And we'll get set for the second half after this. The Cyclones have meandered back onto the field here, getting set for the second half. We still are waiting for the Skyhawks of Hammond. And so we are also still awaiting Rick Reitz to have a little bit of a chat with Brody Hart. By the way, if you are wondering, our score is 35-0 Hammond. 3 passing touchdowns from Will Muschamp's son, Jackson Muschamp, junior quarterback for the Skyhawks, and a couple of rushing touchdowns from Jordan Birch. As Nistad gets loose here for the third quarter there, the Cyclones quarterback number 4. So if you're wondering, the running clock at the Skeezer ranks becomes a mandatory rule once a team is up by 40. If a team is up by 30, it is at the discretion of the coach of the team trailing by 30. We have not yet gotten a confirmation as to whether or not that is happening now or not.
And I don't know how do you play that if you're a coach?
I'm not sure, but Rick Reitz is standing by with Brody Hart right now.
Guys, Coach Reitz, you're down 35-0 right now. What do you say to your team to change, get a different outcome here in the second half?
Well, we've made a lot of mistakes. We made a lot of errors, mental errors and physical errors. So we just want to go back and just give it our best effort and prove that we're a good football team too. So we're just going to come out in the second half and start over, see what happens.
What does success look like for the next few minutes of football?
Yeah, just moving the ball, scoring some points. What we'd like to do now. Everything else will be a bonus.
Give me a little more than that. What specifically, what do you want your team to do?
Well, we have to block better. We have to tackle better. We have to
play better football.
Open, play better football. That's about it. Not much went right in the first half.
Coach, good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Hey, Brody. Greg Popovich wants to see you on the third row.
No, right. He didn't make it easy for you there, but at least he didn't chase me down and yell at me like Popovich is known to do there.
I know. I got to tell you, though, man, when did you start doing sidelines with us?
Dean, this is the third year now.
Third
year, yeah.
Wow.
So 2016 then was the.
I'm just gonna say, and I don't say. I mean, I said this to Darren right off the click when I first saw him.
Yeah.
And this is a true story.
Like, he said, "Man, you're awful."
The first time I ever saw Darren do play-by-play, I texted him. I'm like, "Dude, you are a star, right?
A star.
Good, right?" Now 3 years in, I'm telling you, you need to get that sideline resume tape out into the market. Darren can help you out.
I know a guy who makes resume tapes.
Guys, I can only hope, Dean, that you would tell me that I am a star.
I'm telling you right now. 3 years in, you're ready to go, my man.
Well, it took 3 years.
That's
but
okay.
I feel okay about it.
Yeah, you got to cut your teeth for a little bit.
Don't call it passion. Just call it determination. That's
well,
what it is.
Here's the thing. When you go to ESPN and they go, what kind of experience do you have? You could say, I have dealt with coaches who are down 35 points and have nothing nice to say.
He did have at least a little bit of a smile on his face, though. I will say, though, if I do talk to ESPN, can I drop Darren Goldwater and Dean Stevens? Can I name drop?
Only Darren's. I wouldn't use mine.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I mean, you're playing with fire with either one, but hey, go for it.
Yeah.
Let us know how it works.
That's right, guys. Well, I'll check in with you down the line and see if we can report back. Maybe I'll have some more sideline interviews that go a little bit better than that. Well, that's
now,
okay,
let me ask you this. Has there been a Will Muschamp sighting?
You know, I've been trying to keep my eye out. I have not seen Will Muschamp over on the far sideline. I bet, and I haven't double-checked the Gamecock schedule to see what their plans are or what their schedule is for tomorrow.
They got a nooner.
They're home.
Okay.
A noon at home.
Yeah, my bet is that he's in the office right now looking at some tape.
You don't think he's on the sideline with like a Gamecock hat and a Gamecock windbreaker and a Gamecock slippers and a Gamecock
maybe
sweats?
he's the dinosaur.
Maybe.
I have not seen him.
Could you find out about the dinosaur?
That's a good point, though. Maybe he is the Triceratops running around the.
Oh, that's what it is, the Triceratops.
Yeah.
Could you do some investigative work for us? Darren wants to know how many people are inside that
How
thing.
many people are inside? Okay.
You know, there once was an interview. A sideline reporter interviewed Uga. So.
Oh yeah. Do you know who Uga is?
I'll see if I can get an exclusive with that Triceratops.
Right, but do you know who Uga is?
Sorry, I didn't hear you. What was that?
Uga. Do you know Uga?
I know Abba.
No. Uga is the Georgia mascot, the Bulldog.
Oh, yeah, the Bulldog.
UGA, right?
Okay,
Uga.
yeah.
Right. So someone once interviewed Uga on live television.
How'd that work out for her?
Didn't work out especially well, but, you know, the interview with the dinosaur is going to go better.
Hopefully the dinosaur doesn't lunge at me like Uga did with that reporter.
How many more games you got with us on the sidelines? You got probably five games left.
At least one more. Yeah.
At least one more.
At least one more.
Yeah.
Well, all right.
Save that tape.
We'll get that resume tape ready.
Resume tape together.
Nell Water Sports. I hear they're pretty good at putting resume tapes together.
You'll be doing Armstrong State versus Albany Tech in no time.
Cannot wait for that.
What made Brody more uncomfortable? The last question with Coach Reitz or the little back and forth right there?
Dude, Brody has come light years. I'm fairly certain that early on he probably spoke about me, maybe said a few prayers for me. But now he's a rock star. He is awesome. He is awesome at what he does at Channel 4. He is one of, if not the best storyteller we have on ABC News 4. He works the morning shift, so that means he's dedicated, right?
Yes.
And they are all over the place in the morning. He is a valuable asset. We'd hate to lose him to ESPN, but I would throw him a farewell party. And you can come too.
It's the U.S. Air Force Aim High kickoff, so when we toss him that farewell party, maybe we can get him on a jet.
Yeah,
Be
man.
a good way to send him off. We're going to crunch some numbers as well. We are. I promise. Here we go. The numbers we are crunching, and these were the stats heading into the tonight's game, brought to you by Anderson Brothers Bank. Jackson Muschamp throwing for, 1,200, almost 1,300 yards.
Yep.
Those are Gunnar Nistad's numbers. Check that.
Right.
So Porter-Gaud's got the ball first here to begin this third quarter. They picked up just a couple of first downs in the first half, and they're going to start this one on the ground. And quickly making the tackle again is Saul Diaz.
Called Diaz's name a lot, called Birch's name a lot. So again, a little counter play, picks up just 2 yards. Let's see if they keep it on the ground, or if they, the other thing, that quick pass has really been a help.
They tried, and that was a forward pass, or so it appeared to me. And that is going to be the call down there on the field. Nistad, you could tell, was hurried there by Bradley Dunn. It wasn't blown dead right away, though, so it appeared as though the officials were questioning whether that was a fumble or a pass.
Right. Super quick, that defensive line.
And big. It's been very hard for Porter-Gaud to move the ball, but like Rick Reed said, let's prove we're a good football team, too, because they are. They're unbeaten on the year. They have given up 36 points on the year coming into this game, so Hammond's almost doubled that. It's a good football team. It's just an overmatched football team tonight.
And that's a play, you got to make that catch.
Time for our Zaxby's fans cam.
Do the dance, do the dance, do the fancy cam dance. There we go.
There you go. They must have heard you down there. Starting them young as the cheerleaders, because you got, you're starting here pre-K? 3rd grade?
I believe so. Yeah, 2. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yep.
O'Quinn School starts at 2. Porter-Gaud then starts once you get into the kindergarten or elementary school.
Now again, you've got Reese did not choose to have a running clock. It's up to the team that's down by 30. Once it gets to 40, there will be a running clock. Muschamp still in the game for the Skyhawks.
What's interesting about the Skyhawks, even with a lead like this, look at their roster. It's not as though they're, a 3A or 4A public school team. Their roster is small. So they don't have a whole lot of options for number 2. I mean, you can probably go about 2 deep at most spots. But there aren't many people on the Hammond roster. So it'll bring up 2nd down, and I don't think we expect to see anything fancy here from Hammond. You go back to what Eric Kimmery told Brody Hart at the half. He said, not too much to criticize other than sometimes the competitive fire gets the best of our guys, and we'll come out in the second half. And in his words, he said, we'll try and get out of here as quickly as possible. And I think that shows the friendship that we were talking about between Kimmery and Rick Reitz. We say that, and they put the ball in the air and pick up the 1st down. That is Canty once again.
I think the first time in this game, number 13 for Hammond. That is Reese Holbrook, and another South Carolina connection, University of South Carolina. His father, Chad Holbrook, the former baseball coach at USC, now here at the College of Charleston. Reese is committed back in March to play baseball at North Carolina.
That's right. He's at the bottom of your screen. They're number 13. Croswell is not even back to the line of scrimmage there.
But another side story on Reese, as an infant, was diagnosed with cancer when he was just 2 years old. Went through chemo for 3 years. That's why the Holbrook family had set up their foundation called Win Away. Started that about 6 years ago, helping families pediatric cancer.
Unbelievable. It's impossible to even imagine what it's like to go through that process. Let's go back down to Brody. He's got a huge trophy, I understand. Yeah.
Hey guys, this is about a 3-foot-tall trophy, so I'm here with VP. She's with our Cumulus radio partners. They come out to every one of these games, Z93 Jams, or as I always like to say, Z93 Jams.
I like that.
I don't know if anybody actually says that like that, but that's how I like to say it.
Well, I like that. That's the good energy right there. I like that.
All right, so tell me about this tall trophy here.
Oh, this trophy right here is something that every single high school is going to want, because we're trying to see who has the most team spirit in the Tri-County area. So what we want every single high school student to do is to go to z93jams.com and vote for their school. And if they vote for their school, then they get the trophy until the next football season. So that's what this is all about. This is a great trophy.
Yeah, I've heard high schoolers like shiny things, so that will be great.
Oh, yeah. And I like shiny things, so I'm kind of getting attached to it, so they better hurry up and vote.
Okay, good idea. All right, so you also said there's this big Halloween party with Waka Flocka, is that right?
Oh,
Did I say it right?
Yes, absolutely. Waka Flocka Flame. It's going to be amazing. So we've got Wakaween. We've partnered up with Atlas Events. It's going to be so much fun. It's going to be on Halloween. Now, it is 21 and up, so sorry to all the students out there. But
that was a close one right there.
That was a close one. We are in the field right now. We are in the moment. But it's going to be Wakaween. It's going to be amazing, and we want everybody to come out there. Go to z93jams.com for some more ticket information. It's going to be great.
VP, you're awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, a big trophy there, an opportunity for a school to take it home for a whole season, guys. Send it back to you.
Brody, you nailed Waka Flocka, so can you throw me some lyrics?
Wait.
One more time. Say it again.
Okay.
Waka Flocka lyrics.
No, don't even.
Okay, I got to ask her, is Waka Flocka, is he going to be here?
Is Waka Flocka going to be at that party?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
No way.
Okay, yeah. He's going to be at the party. This is
Right
a big
on.
deal.
I'm going.
Yeah. He's going to perform.
And I'm hosting with Chris Kalin, so it's going to be a fun time.
Awesome.
I'm there.
Okay.
I'm
You're Waka Flocka there.
Hey, you guys up there, you got to give us the heads up, though, because, as you know, we have our backs turned to the field, so I know that we tend to have those big plays happen whenever we're doing live reports. But so just give me a hand signal if anything happens behind us, in which we need to get out of the way.
I'm just going to tell you right now, you were nowhere in jeopardy of being doinked, bonged, or dinged by the ball.
Awesome.
But I am going to go to Waka. You want to go to Waka with me? You and me, B?
I'll do it. I'll go to Wakaween.
Are you leaving me out?
Wakaween, right?
Wakaween. And we're going to have costume contests.
Where is it again?
Big prizes, and you have to dress up.
Where is it?
They want to know again. Where is this happening?
This is going to be at the Omar Shrine Convention Center on October 31st, Halloween. It's going to be Liddy in the City. It's going to be amazing.
Oh, I like that, Liddy in the City.
Liddy in the City.
Nice.
Yes.
So I need a costume worthy of Waka Flocka Flame Liddy in the City.
Yeah.
That is worthy of Waka
Okay.
Flocka. We need to let him know about that you just said that. Did you take that from him, or is that you?
Oh, no, that's me. I'm just a cool person like that. That's what we do here at Z93 Jams. We keep it hip. We keep it cool.
This is why we have you every week on Friday Night Rivals. To keep it light and also to have some fun. So thank you.
That's all right. Absolutely. Anytime.
All right, Brody, one more question. I'm sorry. Could you ask her on the cool meter where you register?
Say it again.
Will you ask her where you, Brody, register on the cool and hip-hop meter?
They want to know where I register and I don't know why I'm agreeing to do this. They want to know where I register on the cool hip-hop meter.
Ooh, okay. Let's see. Who's your favorite artist, your favorite hip-hop artist?
My favorite hip-hop artist, probably Will.i.am.
Oh,
you're pretty cool then.
That's
that's
good.
pretty solid right there. So I'm a 1 to 10, 10 being the coolest. I'm going to give you a solid 8.
I may or may not have pulled that out of nowhere.
That was good.
But that's fine, right?
Get an A for effort.
Awesome. Thank you. Guys, let's
Good job.
I like it, man.
And thank you for not putting me on the spot. I don't know where I'd have gone with that one.
By the way, not to be overshadowed for our conversation there, but another great punt.
Yes. That almost resulted in Porter-Gaud getting the ball back.
Robert Grubb's been busy defensively tonight. Looks to be maybe favoring that left side.
The athletic trainers of Hammond will help him out. Rick Reitz is out there as well. We'll step aside. Midway through the third quarter. Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet. Grubbs got up, walked off the field under his own power, so that was good to see. And now it'll be this Hammond offense back out there. It's been pretty straightforward here in their couple of possessions of this third quarter. Mostly runs. I believe they've tossed it out once to Andre Wilson. And they'll do it again. Here's Canty now, and Canty is down in the field of play. Picked up a couple.
Really impressed with Muschamp. The ball fake right there to clear out the left side. Deked it long and then went short. Nice defensive play on the right side by Porter-Gaud to keep it just a 2-yard gain. Do you ever think we talk about Waka Flocka Flame during a broadcast?
No, I did not.
You are in the know now.
In fact, I had to ask the truck if Waka Flocka and Flavor Flav were. I don't know. They're not. No, they're two totally separate people. Flavor Flav wears the clock around his neck. That's Croswell with the run. It'll bring up third down.
Waka Flocka is actually from Atlanta. Well, actually, he's from New York. Lives in Atlanta.
Nick Case down in the truck is telling me Flavor Flav is from the Low Country.
Where's he from, Nick? Buford? He's like, let me
Google that
Wiki. See, this is the benefit that I have.
Lived here, not from here.
Oh, lived here. The benefit of having a 21-year-old, a 16-year-old, and a 13-year-old. All right, you're still on Paw Patrol.
I was going to say, I bet I got you beat on the Disney stuff. Jackson Muschamp with a hard count. Drew Andrew Thomas off, and Thomas knew it, and that's going to give Hammond a first down.
Well-schooled, well-disciplined quarterback. Only about 6 foot, 190 pounds or so. He has, I mean, think about the places he's moved. Auburn, Alabama, Austin.
Good spots.
Florida, Gainesville, right? Now Columbia.
Muschamp also spent some time at Valdosta State.
How about that?
Yeah. In fact, he was there with Kirby Smart, and they were both assistants. Flag is down, and that one is just out of the reach of Canty again. Yep, number 9.
Canty able to have that one-handed grab pulled in. It was Rutherford Fawcett. Or was it? Rutherford walked into the shot late.
Let's head back down to Brody.
Oh, great. What's he got?
Here we go, guys. All right, we are with Chris Angel, head of school at Hammond. So we've got pretty wide margin here right now. How are you feeling about this?
Right. I'm proud of our team. I think we've played really well thus far. It's a nice, comfortable lead, and didn't quite expect this. Porter-Gaud is always a great opponent, and we knew that they were going to be a good competitor, and so we've just gotten the better end of this tonight. So
I feel like you actually have pretty similar schools. You were kind of talking about your counterpart at Porter-Gaud a little while ago.
Right, yeah. So we love Porter-Gaud. They're always very gracious and very similar schools philosophically, academically, and athletically. And they're always very gracious to us. We actually had a team of teachers on campus today. We came down and took advantage of playing on the field tonight to bring our teachers down and share some ideas. So we're competitors on the field, but colleagues in the academic world.
And you just went up by another touchdown, guys. I'll send it back to you real quick.
I dropped the Rutherford Fawcett line a minute ago.
You did.
And now he turned the spigot on,
and here's another look.
Drops it right in over the linebackers.
So that's 4 passing touchdowns now for Muschamp. And that will also force a running clock, I believe, at the start of the 4th quarter. Okay.
Could he agree to do it now?
So we've gotten clarification up here. So
he could agree to run the clock now, but starting the 4th quarter,
you would have to.
You'd have to. This is why we have an extra official up in the press box with us.
Yeah, to keep us straight. And Brody keeps us straight, too. So we're going to go back down to Brody here.
All right, thanks, guys. So talking about football, what's going on at Hammond? What else is going on in the hallways there?
Well, it's been a great start to the school year thus far. We've opened a brand new academic building, Science and Innovation Center, 30,000 square feet. It's been an amazing resource for us. We have a Sci-Dome, which is a modern planetarium inside. We've got a big maker space, greenhouse, saltwater aquarium, lots of resources for our teachers to use. So that's exciting. And we're renovating a gym right now. So our basketball season is right around the corner, and we look forward to opening up our new gym and all the facilities that are inside it as well.
This is an eerily similar interview that I did with Porter-Gaud. There were a lot of really college-level type things going on academically, and really it seems like all around campus.
Right, and that's really our goal. Is we're like Porter-Gaud. We send 100% of our students to 4-year colleges and universities, and our goal is for them to be prepared when they get there. So we like to provide them with a college-level experience in high school, so that when they get to whatever college or university they matriculate to in the fall of next year, that they'll be prepared and ready to do well.
Chris Angel, head of school at Hammond. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Guys.
Those are some awesome facilities that they have. I mean, can you imagine having a planetarium and a
saltwater tank? Well, they have that at Sullivan's Island Elementary. They got a big saltwater tank over there. Hey, Brody, anything about the planetarium you'd be interested in and maybe going back to school and taking some classes?
Anything I would be interested in with a planetarium?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't see why not. I hadn't planned on it, but if we're going to talk about it, if you want to give me some vacation days, I'll be happy to head up there.
Absolutely. Yeah, we should go maybe do a site tour, and you could be my son.
It sounds like a good feature story to me, Dean.
A road trip with Brody. I see it. I see it in your future.
Uh-oh. Well, we got a new series coming up on ABC News 4. Road tripping with Brody.
No. Jason Bennett said a broad trip.
I love it, and Dean, you were kind enough to pay the compliment earlier.
Which one?
Which one? Well, I was going to say the storytelling.
True.
That I love to do when we get a chance at ABC News 4. One of the big things we really try to make a hallmark in our newsroom, so it's always exciting.
What was the last big one you did?
I got to do one this week with Adam Gorlitsky.
Saw that one.
Yeah, that was a great one. So for those watching at home, Adam Gorlitsky lives in Mount Pleasant. He's paralyzed from the waist down, but he uses an exoskeleton suit to do all these races. He did the Cooper River Bridge Run in 2016. He was the first paralyzed man to ever do that. He did it again last year. But now, starting tomorrow, he is doing a half marathon in Portland, Oregon. And this guy's he's paralyzed. He was in a car accident. He cannot walk.
And what did he talked about, 15 hours or so? Is that about what he estimates?
Minimum. 15 to 20 hours.
And he won't sleep, right?
Yeah, because the race starts on Sunday morning, but he's going to start Saturday night, tomorrow night at like 6 p.m.
You know what broke me on that story?
What's that?
What broke me? The dad angle.
Which was it?
The dad angle of that story.
Oh
just
man, he goes with him the whole time. He walks alongside him, and everywhere he goes. I mean, so his dad. If you watch the story, his dad was in the story right alongside him, like he is at every one of his races. I mean, I could see in the brief amount of time I spent with him, I could see the love and the bond between those two. Just to go through something like that. Think about it.
Yeah, because I think was it a car accident or a swimming accident? No, it was a car accident, wasn't it?
It was a car accident, December 30th, 2015.
Oof.
Yeah, or I mean 2005.
Yep. Okay.
You can find that story on abcnews4.com.
That was exactly where I was going, asking whether or not if you go online you can find that story.
Yeah. That would have been a great road trip for us to go to Portland with him, kid.
So Porter-Gaud here, looking at 3rd down and 11. We still have not seen Alex Boogie Huntley, although he is here dressed. Right, yeah, he's here, he's dressed. He just hasn't been playing.
Giving us a little stare into the end zone camera. Saul is still in the game.
Yeah. Well, like I said, the roster isn't exceptionally deep.
That's right. What is, it's hard to tell from up here, like, how big is Saul? Did he tell you?
So they're not, certain schools will only provide
height and weight.
Well, not even, the number and class, junior, senior, freshman. So it was easy to figure out Jordan Birch and Alex Huntley because they are highly recruited athletes.
Easy to find them.
As juniors, yeah. I mean, you plug them in online, you're going to see that they can both choose where they want to go play their college ball in a couple of years. Not the same with Diaz, although I would imagine if I efforted a little harder, I could find it. Look at this kid.
Tell you what.
MVP of the night for Porter-Gaud is Whites. And that's going to stop at the 4.
White's you talking about? Soccer player? Yep.
Going to Clemson to kick. He's a preferred walk-on.
To punt?
Yeah. Punt and place kick.
It's a pretty good job if you can get it.
It's a great job if you can get it and keep it.
How are you feeling about that Clemson situation?
The quarterback situation. I think Kelly Bryant's been very quiet this week. I would like to have heard at least his thoughts. I mean, sitting there watching Lawrence go down, what is Kelly Bryant thinking? Is he thinking, I wish I was there for my guys? Is he thinking something else? I don't know. I can't possibly put myself in his shoes. But, you know, it's interesting. I was listening to a good conversation about the Alabama quarterback situation as Muschamp gets this one out on the edge to give them a little bit of space here.
That's Rutherford Fawcett, by the way.
Sure is. It's Fawcett again. You know, and the conversation was, without coming out and saying it, I think indications are that Nick Saban had a agreement to some degree with Hurts, saying, look, I need you to stay. I want you to stay. And there was some type of an agreement prior to it becoming public knowledge that Tua was going to become the #1 guy. So there are different ways to handle the situation, and that's not slighting Dabo at all, because it also involves the kids. And I was listening to this actually on Ryan Russillo's new podcast, and I thought he made a wonderful point. He went back 2 or 3 years and found all the 5-star quarterbacks and where they went. And I think only 3 are still at the same school. The others bolted. And, you know, what do you want the coach to do? You're going to play the best guy. So it's a hard situation for anyone involved. I think if you're an athlete, you need to be willing to say, look, nothing's going to be given to me. I need to earn it. And if I don't,
and I think
then the decision comes.
And I think Bryant's argument was, I didn't do anything to lose the job.
It's a good argument. He didn't.
And I thought, I'm a big fan of risk versus reward.
Okay.
Right?
Well, how about we risk going to break and our reward
No, that
your
would be our
story.
reward. No, just the opposite. The reward is going to break. The risk will be my story.
Okay, all right. So we're rewarding you with a deep breath, and then we'll risk Dean's story when we start the fourth quarter. It's 42-0 Hammond. All right, it's time to risk the story. Fourth quarter time with Dean Stevens and Darren Goldwater. Hammond has been in control. It's been a statement here for the Skyhawks. Their defense has shut down Porter-Gaud, and this is a very good Cyclones team, but just simply overmatched here tonight. So we'll have a running clock here in the fourth quarter, and it starts with this carry that gets him out here close to the 30. All right, Dean, let's risk the story.
So when it first happened, you sit and you look on social media, and everybody's got a thread, and everybody's got an opinion. And so finally, it was very simple. It was Dabo made a business decision, and Kelly made a life decision, right?
Right.
So
and their decisions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then when Lawrence goes down, and you're thinking, you know, what's the worst case scenario? Well, that's Trevor Lawrence gets hurt. So do you manage it this way? You let Kelly Bryant start every game, and they're going to be blowouts because Clemson's that good, and I think the ACC is not that good.
Right.
And then by the third quarter, Trevor Lawrence is playing 2 quarters of football, the third and the fourth. Everybody's happy. Everybody gets their reps, and your freshman quarterback is working the system. And then when you get to your playoff, when you get to that semifinal game, you're like, now's the time to go with him. The kid is ready. He's seasoned. He's good to go. Because I didn't think he looked that sharp against Syracuse. I don't think he looked that sharp against A&M.
I didn't see him against A&M. I made it a point to watch the Syracuse game because I happened to have that last Saturday off. And I didn't think he looked wonderful. Now, I've heard great things, but I have not seen him play, so I can't really comment on it. And I think maybe if Dabo had hindsight, maybe he would agree.
So,
but isn't it then up to Dabo to manage that situation?
So does Dabo make that decision thinking there's no way that Kelly Bryant leaves? Because again, you've got to protect your brand, right? At all costs, you've got to protect your business because that's what it is, right? So we'll take it a step further. So Lane Kiffin had said on the Dan Patrick show leading up to the first game of the year, he was like, Saban's not going to say a word about this because he doesn't want anybody to transfer.
Right.
Ooh, big hit in the backfield.
Yeah, it was Andrew Thomas again.
So now let's go back to South Carolina. because this conversation has not been had. They went with Jake Bentley early, and they ran off a quarterback, and Brendan McElwain. McElwain comes in as this two-sport stud, struggled with baseball, was splitting time between baseball and football, which I think it's impossible to do.
Very
unless
hard
you're
nowadays.
Bo.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, very, very hard.
It's very few and far between, right?
Yes.
So McElwain is your dual quarterback.
Dual threat guy.
And Bentley, they move him in. And McElwain leaves.
Where is he now?
So McElwain transferred, and he sat out a year at Cal. And the Cal Bears are now 4-1 after losing to Oregon the other night. McElwain threw for 220 and ran for 150. So I think it's managing that position. It's managing egos. It's managing parents, right? It's a tough gig, and probably reason why every coach should make about $8 million a year.
And there's no right or wrong decision. And these are going to be decisions that will continue to happen, particularly now. I mean, I like the rule a lot with the 4-game redshirt rule. It has allowed Kelly Bryant to transfer, and it will allow others to transfer as well. It's not the purpose of the rule.
Because Clemson lost 3 pretty good quarterbacks in the last year and a half.
Because each of them saw
the next guy coming,
right.
the next guy coming.
And the day and age that we're in, and it's just a fact of life. Coaches are going to move around, players are going to move around. Speaking of moving around, Porter-Gaud finally moving around there a little bit.
Able to get to the outside.
And he is out of bounds.
Nice speed on the corner by J.D. Key. Well thrown ball.
Yep. And it's Trush who gets it down there. So Porter-Gaud has an opportunity to avoid the shutout here, and they are in the Planet Fitness judgment-free red zone. Nistad is still in the game here. He's got Charlie Thomas in the backfield with him. You've heard us say Andrew Thomas's name quite a bit. This is his younger brother with the ball here. Charlie spins and gets planted at the 1.
So Alabama's got, Jalen Hurts won't be there next year, right?
And he had every opportunity to leave this year.
He did. And I believe Tua's brother is coming in next year.
Is he a quarterback as well?
Of course he's a quarterback as well. Yeah.
It must be tough to be an Alabama fan.
Caleb Pierce with a touchdown.
And Porter-Gaud gets on the board. And that's what Rick Reed said. Let's come out here. Let's prove that we're a good football team as well. That's something that we could do here in this second half.
You keep grinding, right?
That's right.
Get knocked down 7 times, get up 8.
Will Lou Gray, never stop learning, stop of the game. I like that one. Good call, guys. Back there in the truck. That's the blocked field goal from Jordan Birch, who's been, not on the field here in the second half, but he dominated in the first half on both sides of the ball. It's your Will Lou Gray, never stop learning, stop of the game. So I don't think necessarily, Dean, there is an answer, or
I don't think there's a right answer or wrong answer either.
Yeah, and I don't think there's going to be something changing anytime soon.
So we've decided that here at Porter-Gaud that something that the schoolmaster, headmaster, principal didn't discuss, they actually have Jurassic Park here out back.
Right. It's the Zaxby's Fans Cam. It is Jurassic Park, and it is also time for a break on the field. We'll bring you back. Time for our Cruise Chevrolet drive of the game. Cruise Chevrolet on Rivers. You've got a friend in the car business. And it was early in the game. Nistad was intercepted, and Big Man Birch, look at him, just got Cyclone bouncing off. It's your Cruise Chevrolet drive of the game. This was the first of 2 early touchdowns for Birch.
Can't wait to see where he goes, where he ends up.
Maybe he will be with Friday Night Rivals next week, taking in the Goose Creek Wando game. That is where telecast will be next week at Goose Creek. Six minutes remaining here. It is a running clock if you're just turning on. And this is Reese Holbrook. He is out to about 20. So a running clock because it was a 40-point game heading into the fourth quarter. And keeping with that transfer discussion, I just don't know. There's just no way to stop what's happening. And to be honest, I don't think I have much of an issue with it the more I talk about it and the more I think about it. Time to crunch some numbers other than the number of transfers.
There you go.
Good numbers right there. Well, for Hammond. And for the first 6 games for Porter-Gaud's defense. 36 points allowed in the first 6, and tonight Hammond has more than doubled that. Those crunching the numbers brought to you by Anderson Brothers Bank.
I'll give you an update on the Fort Dorchester-Berkeley game. Apparently, Fort Dorchester tied up with 5 minutes left at 14. Darren Stoltz was reporting that about, how about that?
There you go. Fumble recovery and the touchdown. That's Kyler Senka.
A Senka cup of coffee.
Yeah, see, you're going cup of coffee, and I'm thinking Senka coffee, like from Cool Runnings. Who pops that free?
Ooh, nice hit inside.
Yep.
Somebody just won him homecoming king right there.
I was corrected when I said that Hammond has more than doubled the points. They haven't doubled them tonight, but they have doubled the points allowed. You've added on to it. Yes.
Yes.
So in case anyone was questioning that, as much as it was questioned here.
Apparently Berkeley sold about 6,000 tickets.
That place was packed.
Berkeley took over the ball at the Fort 34.
Okay, wait, what's the score?
14-14.
Oh, really? So 2 straight scores for Fort Dorchester.
There was an unsportsmanlike conduct call on the Fort bench with 5 seconds left. Berkeley had the ball down the 4. And then Berkeley with a chance to win it in a 20-yard field goal with no time on the clock, and they missed.
Oh.
So they're going to OT.
Overtime in Monk's Corner. It's got nothing on the Yaden Chiropractic Clinic smooth move of the game, though. And the smooth move of the game is right there, Mr. Senka. Touchdown for Porter-Gaud. Very own award-winning Low Country Orthopedics and Sports Medicine will later present the player of the game. This is your Yaden Chiropractic Clinic smooth move of the game. Walker Carswell.
41, Walker Carswell.
Okay. There we go. Our roster's got him as Senka, but instead it's Carswell who has that touchdown. So let's give credit where credit is due right there. Fumble return for the touchdown. Typically wearing 45, Walker Carswell. He's only a sophomore, though. You think he's going to get homecoming king for that?
Maybe the lower school level.
And although Holbrook wants to take that out, high school rules dictate that the kick into the end zone is a touchback.
As you said, we have Wando next week. They're beating West Ashley 23-7.
That would be a good win for Wando.
Great win for Wando. The game, and I don't believe you were there, the Wando Fort Dorchester game.
I was not. That was you. That was you and E-Dog.
It was as gutty as a performance I've seen from a high school program in a while.
Now it's time for the player of the game, brought to you by Low Country Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Got a lot of ways to go here. You think they're going to go Muschamp? Yes.
Yeah, he can.
We're going Muschamp. Jackson Muschamp. I got him for 4 passing touchdowns. May have gotten a 5th in there as well. Very own award-winning Low Country Orthopedics and Sports Medicine providers present the Player of the Game. Get back in the game with fast access to Low Country Orthopedic and Sports Medicine's 5 locations located in Somerville, North Charleston, Moncks Corner, and Daniel Island.
Swarm and Porter-Gaud defense.
And the running clock still.
Goose Creek with a win over Stall, so we'll have 2 teams coming off of wins.
Is that Goose Creek's first of the year?
First win?
First win? Maybe second?
I don't know.
Okay, fair enough. If you don't know something, just say so. That's it.
It took me a while to think about it.
I know. See, that one I did know. And we got a new quarterback. This is Josh Lipsitz. So you've seen him on the field if you've been watching tonight. He has played some in the defensive secondary. He has been on the field as a wide receiver. And it's Reese Holbrook who gets the carry here. So Reese navigates his way for a few yards and loses his helmet. So he's going to have to sit for a play. What position he play in baseball?
I believe he plays shortstop.
Okay.
So I saw some video of him the other night after football practice in the cage, just swinging.
Solid.
Looked pretty good. You never know. I mean, but here's the great part of the story is, aside from coming back as a pediatric cancer survivor, but he had his treatment up at Chapel Hill.
Is that right?
Because that's where they were living, because
he was
his
coaching
dad
there.
was the assistant coach
That's right.
there.
And little did they know
that he would turn around and go to school there and to play baseball.
It's amazing how life works out sometimes.
Is it?
Nettles Green. Yes, it is.
There you go. It is actually. It is fairly phenomenal.
I mean, it would have been interesting as well if he committed to Duke.
Yes. 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 So, yeah, good baseball player.
Well, Duke's program on the rise, by the way. They're getting better and better with Appalachian State's ex-head coach Pollard.
And it is amazing to see how much money is now being spent on baseball facilities around the country.
It's about time.
It is unbelievable.
Yes.
Mississippi State's new facility where Lamonis went.
Yep.
Oregon State's new facility they're putting in is unbelievable.
Speaking of Lamonis and Oregon State, I believe 2020 Oregon State goes to Starkville. Saw that in the Twitter sphere over the weekend.
College basketball starts in like 30 days.
Yeah, if you ask those who are all about it, they're going to tell you that, practice is starting up here soon if it hasn't already. And we've got an update from Moncks Corner. Berkeley has scored on the first play of overtime. So if that's the first play of overtime, then Goose Creek will get a shot at it after this.
That's my question going into Saturday.
What's that?
Will we see DeCarrion Joyner for the Gamecocks tomorrow?
Yes. At some point, yes, because Bentley is hurt and he is not going to play.
Right.
So at some point, I believe he'll play.
Well,
that was announced earlier today that Bentley would be out.
Yeah, and Skarnicki is starting.
Correct. So that carry from Green is going to bring this thing to a close. It was 35-0 at the half. Hammond's added one more on the board here in the second, and they win this thing, dominating. It's a very good football team that Eric Kimmery has. He wins at 42-14 here over Porter-Gaud. We'll wrap this thing up when we get you back. Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruz Chevrolet. 42-14, a game that was billed as quite a showdown here. Two undefeated teams in Skis 3A, and Hammond proved that they can separate themselves from the pack. They've beaten First Baptist already, and now they've taken out Porter-Gaud. 42-14, they did that on the road both times. I think this is a Hammond team that is poised for another deep run in the playoffs. Let's go down to Brody Hart for the trophy presentation.
All right, thanks, guys. Coach Kimmery, 42-14, up down to 7-0 on the season. How's your team better right now than they were before this game?
Well, I think we're playing with a little bit more discipline. We didn't turn the ball over until late there. Our defense was just tremendous tonight, so if we can continue to play that way, we're going to be tough to beat.
What'd you see tonight that you want to see more of next week?
We faced a little adversity. Boogie wasn't able to play tonight, and some other guys stepped up. And anytime somebody goes down, to have someone come in and step up, especially on our defensive line, was great. So, our guys are playing well, and our offensive line protected for Jackson. He was able to throw some good balls to some guys that made some plays.
Yeah, you seem to have a lot of momentum at this point in the season. How far can this momentum take you right now?
To Monday.
Yeah.
And then we'll get after it in practice. And we'll lift at 6:45, right, guys?
Oh, yeah. Well, Coach, until then, here is the Friday Night Rivals Trophy. It's yours. You got it. Yeah, give it to him.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Classic.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the greatest answers we've
just
gotten.
got Popovic'd.
It's true. Look, your goal's a state championship. You're going to take this momentum, and you're going to sit on it for a day. We're going to sit on this one for a day as well. Thanks to all our sponsors for making FNR possible. Next week, we told you it's Goose Creek and Wando. 42-14. Hammond wins it tonight. Coming up, ABC News 4 at 11. Friday Night Rivals will give you a complete rundown of scores from around the Low Country. They'll give you the final from Berkeley and Goose Creek. For Dean Stevens and our entire crew, great job today. Pleasure working with you guys as always. I'm Darren Goldwater. We'll see you next week. Friday Night Rivals, driven by Cruise Chevrolet.
Channel 1, Channel 2. Channel 1.